Back in late 2018, Kale and I decided we wanted to start a brewery together, and one of the initial fun things was coming up with the name. And I had a list going, and some light backstories and stuff, and was gonna talk to Kale about it. And before I got into it, he just was like, "Hey man, it's gotta be Tailgunner." And that was really cool. Like he knew my grandfather, knew my grandfather's story, knew how important my grandfather was to me. And that was the beginning of our namesake core story of Tailgunner. The later years of my grandfather's life, where he put his memoirs together, and he let us all read them. Yeah, so back in 1942, my grandfather was flying I believe it was his fifth mission. He was a tail gunner in a Lancaster bomber, and they were flying over Germany, just finished a bombing raid, and it was at night. They got caught in what's known as cones. That's where all the lights on the ground cone upward, create a cone on a target, and everyone on the ground shoots at you. So, they got loaded with bullets and everything they were shooting up there, and lost 3 of their 4 engines. And the Armada ended up leaving them, just they couldn't keep up. So they peeled off and went over to Holland and to land at an Allied air base. So it was a slow trip. Those Lancasters don't move very quick anyway. And on one engine, they were just limping along. But they made it all the way to the air base. And I believe it was early morning, and, they were coming in and just about to land, and they could see that, unfortunately, the Nazis had taken over that airstrip. And Red McGill, the pilot, got on the radio and was just like, "We're in it now, boys. Good luck." And that was kind of the last communication. And everybody, got ready and did their best. But the Nazis got in their planes, shot the hell out of them, and it was actually one plane came underneath. They had a cannon device that shot straight up. It was made for this, and they came under the bomber, shot it in half, and actually the tail section ripped off from the plane, and my grandfather got sucked right out and fell to the earth. Parachute was just kind of half on, half open, just spun down, hit the earth really hard, about 2 feet from irrigation ditch. Thank God, that's why I'm here. Broke his hip, injured his leg and shoulder, and hid in the ditch for, better part of a day, hid his parachute and everything with the one arm that he could still use. And then a farmer came out who owned the land, and picked him up, carried him to the house, and they tried to hide him for about 3 days. And anyway, the Nazis came, found him. I believe the story is they pulled the whole family out at gunpoint, and that's when my grandfather, 19 years old, started kicking and screaming. It was like, "I'm here, I'm here." And they took him, put him in a truck, and the next 2.5 years of his life was a real struggle for sure, between starvation, torture, 2 death marches. And that's where, they move you to a different POW camp, and whoever makes it. They don't feed you, they don't give you water. It's just a long walk to wherever you're going. And usually you get there with about 30% of the people you started with, kind of thing. And that was an easy way to get rid of people, So he survived 2 of those, and was at 3 different POW camps. And and then was liberated. In Germany, they were marching again, and a couple of Allied planes flew down low, and the Nazis dropped their guns and gave up, and that was that. And anyway, he came back to Canada eventually, and married my grandmother, who was an incredible woman, and they started a family, and here I am. And I mean, the struggles that he went through, that whole generation went through, are just mind-blowing, and something that I think we all need to remember, we all have, that family history, and whether people served in the war or not, our grandparents, great grandparents, in some cases our parents, they really suffered through that to make sure, we have the lives we have today, and enjoy the freedom and liberties that we have today. And the place we're in here is, I think pays homage to that as best as we can. Right from the ground up, Kale and I really tried to use, kind of timeless materials, have a timeless feel in here, make it a community-driven beer hall that people can come in and have conversations with each other. Obviously, we'd hope they'd have a little bit of conversation about, some of their family history as it relates to that time in World War II, and that'd be fantastic. That's kind of everything to us. But I mean, they come in here, they have conversations, make memories. I mean, we don't have any TVs in here, and there's a reason for that. We like people to come in and talk and like I say, create awesome memories, and have incredible beer, incredible food, great music, and the ambiance in here, I think, is just, it's a lot of fun. We do a lot of different things in here. We aren't opposed to, having TVs when big sporting events and our favorite hockey team, the Calgary Flames are rocking and rolling. It's pretty neat. We throw up some screens in here, and the vibe is awesome. But that's part of it. That's community, and getting behind something and rallying. So, yeah, I think we're just trying to push through and keep going here and make this place the best it can be. And so far, so good.